Welcome to the channel. This is Clarityempress, the Empress of Clarity. Here to welcome you back for another live, collective, and donation reading. I hope everybody is well. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment in the comment section. Let me know if the reading resonates with you. I hope everybody's doing great. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime that I come on. Okie dokie. So what's up, collective? Huh? What it do? What it do? What it do? What it be like? And what do it do? Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, what's my sweater? Got one here. So, I'm about to get this thing crack-a-lacky with my collective. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, if that's what you celebrate. Whether it's the All-Star weekend or the, what was that, Valentine's Day. Whatever you celebrate, I hope you had a good time. If you were just relaxing and doing regular shit, I hope you was having a good time with that too. Now, when my people get on, we're about to unpack the thumbnail and the downloaded message. Because actually, there's a lot of messages I gotta give y'all tonight. I think, well, not a lot, just something. Something serious. Oh, let me get somebody else. Gotta put my people on. Hold on. Nope. Wrong person. There we go. And then let's see, one more. Country. Chrissy. Oh, shit. Which is the number? Oh, that's the number. So, as I finish sipping on my water to mind my business, I think it's time to get nosy. It is time to get nosy, y'all. Hi. Ina. I don't know how to say that, but hello. How are you? Welcome to the channel. This is Clarityempress, the Empress of Clarity. We're about to unpack a couple things about instant karma tonight. I'm good. I'm good. Can't complain. Glad to see you. Glad you could make it. Yeah, we about to get into it about karma tonight because, you know, the veil is gone. Okay, Randy, go read your Bible some more, boo. We're not here to read the Bible tonight, but we're not here to argue either. Yeah, we block over here. If you coming over here, that ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about. Because we ain't disrespectful, feel me? And we do have a moderator, whether you can see her or not. So be respectful at all times, because you never know when you get the pew pew from the block. Alright. Let's get this message started. So, several things we're going to talk about. Alright, first, matter of fact, let me find the right card to display. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but I'm looking for a card to display what I'm about to tell you. Oh, shit. I know I did not. Chrissy! I did not, damn it. I wanted to play this message for y'all, but I'm gonna just tell you what the man said. So, what I heard today was that, you know, we in this world of ours, right? This simulation that we live in, we tend to think, oh shit, go Chrissy, go Chrissy. Congratulations on making the moves. I just love it. We tend to hang our hope, right? Star card, on financial success bringing us the joy, the happiness, and everything, right? But they have a Harvard study. I want to say he said it was a Harvard study that determined success is not generated by money. It is not generated by academics. It's not generated by specifically entrepreneurship or specifically career. Success is generated by love, physical touch, and love, right? Love, to be genuinely in a soul to soul agreement and contract with someone that loves you ignites genius level abilities. People think I could put love aside and I can go do what I want and I can get back to love anytime. But the key component that they're missing is the love. Oh shit. Damn. That's deep. You know why? All right, now it's bringing me back to the origin story written by the Yoruba people. Well, not written, but passed down by the Yoruba people of Nigeria, right? In the Yoruba tradition, when the Orisha, if you know what that is, if you don't know, look it up. Orisha, Orisha for some people, or Orisa. Some people, you pronounce the H whether it's there in the word or not. Anyway, the Orisha were sent to the planet from Olodumare, which is God, or the one omnipotent God, to create humans, right? So I'm going to tell you this story because it's going to bring it back to what I just told you. When he brought the Orisha together, it was mostly the masculine Orisha, right? And he explained to them, this is what I have for you to do. Now, Obatala, he is the king of the white cloth. He is the he governs the head, like their thought process, more like air energy, if that makes sense. And what he was commanded to do was to ask Ogun. Ogun is a Orisha of warrior, but he's also the blacksmith. Okay, he runs, not runs. He governs, so to speak, iron technology and things like that. Right, the railroad tracks, the roads too, along with Eshu. However, Ogun was requested to create a golden chain to extend from the heavens to earth. Now, why the story goes like this is the human spin on it. So I'm just going to tell you the folklore that I received, okay? So he was asked to create a golden chain. Ogun said, I don't have enough gold to do that. So Obatala had to collect gold from all the Orisha to create the chain. That they did. Now, when the original meeting went down with Olodumare and the people he commanded to do whatever, he said, whatever you do, don't leave Oshun out. Oshun is the feminine goddess of love, of wealth, of beauty, and a whole lot of other things, okay? And they were told not to leave her out. But they're like, oh, okay, yeah. They went on to do their job. Just like men do. I'm going to go take care of my work. I'll get to her later. That's what they thought. So they went to say, all right, let me fashion this chain. Everybody gave up some gold. Ogun was able to make the chain. There were several things in the satchel that Obatala had to bring with him in order to create life once he got down to the earth. And earth was a ball of water at that time. So he collected sand from their area. He collected an egg from a bird. And a couple other things I cannot remember. Oh, palm wine. He had palm wine with him, and I don't remember what else. So when he got to the end of the chain and it was just water, he just opened up his satchel and sprinkled the sand, which created the ground and the earth, which he was able to stand on. I can't remember what the egg did because I'm telling you by memory right now. I'm not reading it. Anyway, I think the egg brought life. I want to say the egg has something to do with animal life, and I know when he sprayed out the sand, that's when things started to grow, but there was still no humans yet. So Obatala went to work. Once the land was formed, he went to work, and he started forming the human in their likeness by the mud. He would make mud people, and they were, on the ground. Obatala also decided to drink some of the palm wine. Now, once he started to drink the palm wine, some of the creations he was forming out of the mud, the people, they were becoming a little deformed, right? Because he didn't have control of his faculties at that point. So, Obatala falls asleep in a drunken stupor. He wakes up with the expectation that the humans would be alive and walking, and nothing happened. So he goes back up the chain, and old Damari calls on him and says, "So how's progress here, down on earth?" And he said, "I don't know what happened, but nothing is growing. Nothing is, the land is there, the trees, there's flowers, there's birds, there's fruit, there's vegetables, there's things growing on the earth. There's now animals, but the humans haven't manifested." So he said, "Well, what did Oshun say?" And I'm sorry, Obatala said, "What about her?" And Oludumare said, "Didn't I tell you not to leave Oshun out?" He said, "Now you have to go petition Oshun, and you must apologize to her for leaving her out because she is required in the process." So he had to go and kiss behind when it came to Oshun, because she was the aspect of love that allowed everything to grow and manifest. I hope that makes sense to you. She was the other half of the equation. Even if she didn't have to fashion them, she was the one that helped bring life to them. So according to this Harvard study, if you do not have love of other people in your life, and it don't have to be romantic, y'all, you know, but a soul to soul contract where there's a loving individual, at least a loving individual in your life, you won't manifest the way you could. You know what I'm saying? Or you won't manifest the way you want to without love. Love is the equation. This is why so many men, right, who get a lot of accolades and praise for their work, you typically have an Oshun energy behind them that creates that. Or if the woman is the one up front, he is successful by virtual being in her shadow or her energy or in her sunlight, however you want to see it. By being in position next to her, he grows. And a lot of men don't seem to understand that. That's why they withering away in this lonely man epidemic. So, for example, that couple, Desmond and the heck is her name? I want to call her Christy. Maybe that's her name, Desmond and Chrissy. Um, Desmond and Chrissy were together since they were about 14. I can't remember when they got married, but they were together at like 14. So that's basically half of their life. Because they're in their 30s now. I don't know where in their 30s they are, but at bare minimum, half their life, if not more. And Desmond decided he was going to step out on the marriage. And then when he got busted, he decided to say, well, I just want a separation. Desmond really, he knew that in order for her to have the YouTube empire that she had, or the social media empire that she had, he the only way to benefit from that is to be connected to her. And she said, yeah, I think we're done here, and filed for divorce. And his brand is not growing. None of his shit is growing. He been busted out in public, carrying on with other women. And yeah, he's not gonna get ahead. I don't know, they didn't have a prenup, but they end up having some sort of agreement eventually. So I don't know if that's not in his favor or not. I don't know the details. I don't really care. My point is, he's not where the love is. And she is being loved on by the community that helped her get to where she is. But he was supposed to be her intimate helpmate. Now he's cast aside. I don't know what that's going to turn out to be. So far, it seems like she's the victim of infidelity, and who knows what else. I know he claimed he didn't like her traveling so much because she did have to travel a lot for her job. But that doesn't mean he has a right to cheat on her. Like, some people think you have a right to do somebody dirty in your relationship because you don't like their job, or you don't like, they spend a lot of time with. No, just break up with them, or just talk to them, or just making a different agreement. He tried to make the agreement after the fact, and he had, according to the rumors, cheated multiple times with multiple women in their home. Right? So he did the utmost disrespect, and that was not necessary. I really think it wasn't necessary. Now, so fast forward to our girl Cardi B. Now, back to the Yoruba tradition. I think, everybody in the industry practice something, whether it's good or bad. And I believe she practices, it could be Santeria, it could be Yoruba, whatever. Either way, she is a child of Ochosi, right? From what I understand. And I don't know, because I don't know her lineage for sure. But she might be a child of Ochosi. And if you know Ochosi, Ochosi is the scales of justice. Ochosi fires that arrow that looks kind of like Sagittarius senator, but with the arrow, right? And he fires the arrow of justice, and it don't matter who it hits, because it's going to hit its target. So you're not going to be able to hide behind somebody. You're not going to be able to lie your way out of it. Your karma is real when that arrow goes out. So anybody that knows what happened at the Super Bowl and subsequently what went on from there, knows that it appears to be over between her and Stefan, right? No sooner as it's over, he is brought up on charges for physical altercation by strangulation. I think he was trying to strangle or or hit his chef because she questioned payment. So he put his hands on his personal chef. Now he has to go to court for that. So now he got a mug shot. He's not in jail, of course, because he has celebrity. Also, his team lost the Super Bowl, and they're already considering trading him. Just like that. He had, I think, 4 or 5 babies in 1 year. Cardi B's being one of them. Okay? Betrayal. I don't know what their agreement was as far as their relationship prior to all of this going down. So it could be that she was understanding and accepting to a degree. But then she flew a lot of family out. They said her family, his family, in excitement of the fact that her man was playing in the Super Bowl. And he dapping it up with one of Offset's, her ex-husband's, I don't know if they physically done with the marriage, meaning like I don't know if the ink is dry, but he's dapping it up with his baby mama and one of Offset's jump offs, right? That he cheated on Cardi with. Ultimate disrespect. So that we keep hearing, oh Sally, he's crowned her head. Who's O'Sally? I mean Ochosi. Ochosi is I wish I could type in the comments. Ocho Chosi. CHOSI, something like that. It's with an H in it. But sometimes it don't have the H, but it's not spelled like that. A lot of negative thoughts. Why? I don't know what you're talking about. Rest 120. So anyway, so where was I? Oh, so a lot of people want to say the two of them, it won't allow you to spell it correctly. That's crazy. Yes, them daggone, what you call it, spell checks. One of the things I was about to say, oh, I just lost my train of thought. Let me get back to it. I'm running it back in my head. Oh, so people want to say that they stop following each other. I don't know if y'all have, anybody has Instagram here, but you can make someone unfollow you. So if she chose to unfollow him, she could have went in the back end and said, unfollow me. Like, you can do that. You can stop someone from following you. You don't have to allow somebody to follow you if you don't want them to. That's possible. And a lot of people don't realize that that's possible. You just figure, well, they following me and that's it. No, you can easily go on the back end and say, unfollow me. And if you got people, then I suggest you learn and do it. If you got people you don't want following you, you can do it. It's the truth, hard jar. I'm telling you. So then I posted the picture of her with the finger out, almost like I had, bitch. Because the thing is, it's not, I don't even know that that was even directed at anybody. She's just like, she's having a great time. It's just giving I have, right? But a man, a masculine energy, specifically men, when they do somebody that loves them wrong, now there's no more, like, we used to see a man go on to have several happy relationships, or what appears to be happy relationships, but it's not working out the same way anymore. There's definitely some astrological planetary shifts. Yes, Ochosi, yes, that's right. I don't know what's wrong with spell check, but it's happening where women pulling that energy back of, I'm loving this person, because you become under their umbrella of protection. And men that don't understand that take advantage of that. And they feel like they can get back to it. Ah, she loves me. I'm good. I don't need to worry about her. I can get back to her when I want to. And whole time, Spirit is like, oh, so I sent you a blessing and you negating the blessing? Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna show you what that means when you do that. So now there's no thought process, meaning like they don't even get the downtime in between to play games. The karma is instant. I could have put up the picture with him in his mugshot, but I didn't bother because, it's enough. But his mugshot is out there simultaneously as she's having a great time at the Super Bowl, doing things them jump offs can only observe. And now it hit me today while I was processing a lot that I wanted to tell you. He now, maybe not from her, Well, if it's 4 other baby mamas, he now has a financial burden he's never had before, all in one time, because he thought he could take advantage of everybody and make everybody his little community. Because he gave community peen to everybody, raw, produced children from everybody, raw, and now he gonna get his bank account drawn out raw, if you get what I'm saying. Because that child support, that's coming, that's next. It ain't gonna be enough for some of them, if not all of them. This man got 68 what million in a contract, something like that, or that's what he worth. I don't know. Whatever, he ain't gonna be on $68 million man now, and he's coming to the end of his mileage because he's in his 30s playing football. And you know, when you come to the end of your mileage, somebody picking you up and holding you down becomes harder to get. We all watched those games with that HBO show where they would watch when they showed people how they got picked and how they worked them to stay on the team and how they decided if they was going to be there the next season. I can't remember the name of that show. But the point is, he is now going through contract negotiations at this point. And then you coming from a failed team at the Super Bowl. You brought a lot of drama to the Super Bowl. You got a mug shot right after the Super Bowl for physically attacking a female, right? And you had a big celebrity girlfriend that dumped you. I feel like she dumped him. But it's over. You lose. And I can't speak for what kind of relationship he had with all the other baby mamas, but none of them was as powerful as Cardi. So now, whether you got a high profile person or not, the fact that your love, your energy was a battery for this person, this masculine energy, to come up, and spirits told you, you're done here. Pull it back. You've done all you can. They now have to deal with the repercussions of their choices and or actions. All right? So now they got to deal with what they done did. A lot of people don't understand how profound the energy and the frequency of love actually is. That this holiday that just passed yesterday would be inconsequential to you. Why? Because you would love on that person so much just because, and every day, that a holiday would not make or break whether y'all show each other love or not. All right, Spirit. And I was telling Black Cherry, I said, I almost came on last night, but I was like, they don't want to hear how they need to go, how they need to leave this person. I said, I'm gonna let them have their Valentine's fantasy for whoever it is. Y'all don't want to hear how y'all need to break up, because we're not supposed to be in situations where we're out of alignment with ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Love is the highest vibration. That's right. And we're supposed to stay in that frequency. But when we lose, and I meant to tell y'all too. Let me remember while I'm saying it. Cardi B, this is a lesson for her, right? This is a lesson regarding her self-worth, even in her private life. So she is definitely a true Libra, and she balances out things. Like, she know how to tuck it in, and go get the job done. She's been on tour ever since, I want to say the Super Bowl, and even maybe before, I don't know. But she know how to put some shit aside and go get some work done. However, there's a such thing of working on yourself too, because she also has some lessons. She also is receiving some karma, because the lesson is, what did you get from this, right? You bandaged yourself with one guy to get over the other one that kept pulling you back in. Turn around and gave this man a child way too early in any relationship to be giving somebody a child, right? And this to happen to the best of us. However, you got to, as a woman, it's your job to, when it comes to protecting your children, is not to create a string of broken homes as well, right? Which means you do your part and your best to maintain connection with your partner, with the right partner, because it's the woman's job to choose the right partner. And I'm hoping for her that this was a lesson in selection, patience, self worth, self love, virtue. Because Cardi may have come from stripping and all of that fun stuff that she used to do back in the day, which was probably not as fun, to make money. Meaning it was wild, right? To wanting to be the one chosen, the only one, right? Respectfully, she wanted to be a married woman. Okay. But you can't do that if you don't vet your men out properly, right? Vet your partner out properly. We as the women are supposed to choose. Right, exactly. Missing bloodline with the wrong person can definitely create a lot of bad karma. So, and whether you choosing a mate, whether you're choosing a friend or soul tribe member, you have to consider who this person is in the long run, because now she has created another child into her family with a man who has multiple women and multiple children. What is that teaching her own children? And what does that mean to her own self-worth? And when I was talking to Black Cherry about it, we were talking about Summer Walker, and I was like, she's another example of that. But then I thought about it because she's surrounded by OGs like Erica Badu, and then I had to think about it. I was like, well, damn. I don't know what the conversations between her and Erica was like, but Erica got three separate baby daddies, and doesn't seem like she was that intent on marrying any of them. So her influence and her other tribe mattered, meaning the people around her also matters because they influence how you grow. Somebody could have told her from the first child, like, slow down. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. I ain't in their circle. But she said, I just want to move on quickly. Well, moving on quickly is not healing you. Moving on quickly is not helping you and your child. And then she turned around and had twins, I believe, from the next dude. And then that broke up. Or before. So anyway, we got to learn better, do better, right? And I'm not judging these women in that they did something wrong. I'm just suggesting that it was done is done, but what did you learn? And now it's time to pause, right? When you do something that doesn't benefit you and you repeat it and you realize I did the same thing, just a different person. So at some point in time, you got to say, all right, let me stop. Let me stop. Okay, let me put a pause on this because maybe I'm doing too much. This is not bringing me happiness. I got a full stop. I got to heal. And that's what they got to say to themselves, right? All right, Spirit, give me a message for the collective regarding the message. Yes, like who are you loyal to? The Hierophant is all about what you learn from your elders, your morale, your morality, your integrity, your knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and your commitments. So past commitments have to be evaluated before you make a new commitment. And time needs to be given, because when you decide that, okay, I want to be chosen, and you put your self-worth on the back burner to focus on somebody that's giving you attention and making you feel away. Because one of the things they said about, I heard that she said about Stefan, was that he would just call at the right time. Like he just knew she needed to hear from him, whether he did it intentionally or not. They still were soulmates in a way. They also are connected. So he just picked up the phone when he thought of her, and it was right on time for her. Those kind of things could lull you into believing that a person is the right, because you don't want to see the red flags, because that in the moment they're making you feel good. You feel me? Tell me more, Spirit. King of Pentacles, yeah. And some people will convince you that they got everything in control. They are stable. They have money. And really, the goal is to learn who really has the stability that you want. Women, instinctually, we procreate because that man is going to be a provider and a nurturer for our child, right? But when we are not thinking on our higher selves, with our higher selves, and we're just going with our sacral chakra, and we just want to feel in the moment, we put ourselves in a position where that man is not who we thought or who we really wanted or who we should even have in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Tell me more, Spirit. And that comes, like, when you learn the difference, usually comes with wisdom, age, experience. You have to go through something to understand, well, I done made a bad choice. Yeah. Ace of Swords in reverse. Yeah. Hidden energy. That clarity wasn't there. The clarity needs to be there in order for you to make a victorious choice in your life. Tell me more, Spirit. Ooh. And then amend that broken heart. And see, that's the thing. This Three of Swords in reverse. And the challenge and the lesson. It's really about now healing. And that becomes the challenge. Giving yourself, like I said earlier, the opportunity, time, and space to heal the wounds. Whatever helped you get there, meaning whatever you brought into your situation, the trauma you face while in that situation, you have to work on those things to be able to pull you out of that situation. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Tell me more, Spirit. And then that leads you to the right mate, the right choice, the soulmates that are meant to love and support and unite. That increases your business prospects and career. It increases. It's like me and my husband always talk about the Wonder Twins. They were a cartoon back in the day when we were kids. And they were brother and sister, but they would have these rings, these magical rings. I don't know if they were Marvel or whatever, but they would go, Wonder Twins, activate, form them. And they form these different things, and then they would go chase the bad guys or whatever. Well, in order to have a Wonder Twin in real life, you got to know who's your twin. Like, who is your person? Who has your back? Who reflects you, your values, your integrity? Who loves you back like you love them? Not somebody that's giving you temporary, occasional love, but red flags any other time. Not somebody who wants you to pour into them but can't pour back into you, meaning there's no reciprocity. Or maybe somebody who doesn't come from any version of love that makes sense, meaning they never had it. Those people is one of the biggest red flags, because they can emulate it based on what they think you want to hear, but they can't demonstrate it consistently when they don't know what it is. And then we got the star. We got hope. So if you're learning your lessons and loving on yourself and getting clarity, choosing differently, choosing according to your values and your standards, right? You eliminate third party situations. The Three of Swords is in reverse. You eliminate that so that you can share in a Two of Cups exchange with somebody. Yes, that knowing. Yeah, and it's funny too, because I was just watching a movie with Ving Rhames, Nipsey Hussle, Gilly, and I can't remember what else. Who? I don't know the other players, right? I think one of them was that Terminator dude, but whatever the case may be, The movie was about these guys being in jail, and Nipsey was Ving Rhames was Nipsey's biological father, and they didn't have a good relationship. So when Nipsey found out that Ving was going to die, um, it kind of changed his perspective of hating on him, because he said, "I really just wanted to get to know you, and have form a bond or a relationship with you. If it can't happen, I understand, but that's what I want to use the rest of my time with," because he had a brain tumor. And at one point, he had a little Bible study with them in his cell. Well, he's in his cell because he's in solitary and they right outside. And it was funny. He said, you know, I don't want to say I love you or nothing because I ain't no punk, but I feel something in my heart for you. Nipsey laughed. I cried. He was like, I ain't no punk. I ain't gonna say I love you, but I feel something in my heart for you. Well, some people are so avoided of emotions. He said, I never, and he clearly said, I never experienced what I believe love is. I don't think I've ever had that, is what he clearly said. He says, so I ain't gonna say I love you because I ain't no punk. But the thing is, you need somebody to simp for you and love. Simping is just a really slang, nasty term for somebody who really shows kindness, love, and affection. And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, is everything right with that. Why? Because a person who will go out of their way in consideration for you really values and respects you. A person that's nonchalant and uncaring and avoidant of their feelings and unable to reciprocate love is a waste of time. That's a waste of time. And it's funny too. I was watching a little quick reel about Geminis. He didn't use the word nonchalant, but he used all the terms to describe that. He said, you try that with a Gemini woman, and she is already replacing you in her head. And I feel like there's more women outside of Gemini women that are like that. We women, if I feel like you are wrong, or you're lying, or you are not telling it all, and you got some coded responses, some hidden secrets, some things that might disappoint and or hurt me at some point, I am really replacing you in my head because I don't have that kind of energy and time to be deciphering all of your messages or all of the gaps that you're leaving. You know what I'm saying, in your conversation. Like, the things you're not saying, we pick up on that. Even if we don't tell you, we see it. You may in the moment you think we don't, but our brains will pick it all up. And who got time for that? That's called unsafe. That's being unsafe in connections. You saw that trailer? You said you was gonna watch that, girl. What is the name of the movie? Because it said, oh, we when we saw it, it says the movie you need to watch or something, but it didn't really seem like that was the title. I don't know. So if you saw that, what is the title of that movie? But yeah, the thing is, like I'm telling you, when you got somebody that keeps you in any state of confusion, third parties, competitions of any kind, that is a person that's not either loving you, let alone raised on love, two, respectful of you, and they're completely unsafe to be around. Like, in a connection, they don't make you feel safe at all. Like, how can you feel safe if somebody's constantly wanting you to guess or jump through hoops to be around them, or make you want to cast your self-worth aside and be a pick me? That is unsafe. That is not love. That is, you know putting you on trial or making you perform. And then you got those nonchalant individuals, excuse me, who want to act like they too cool for school to demonstrate love because somebody told them that love means you got to be a punk, or they've been hurt before They're unwilling to show anybody else the respect and love that they deserve. So if that's you, collective, if you're not receiving the respect and love that you deserve because somebody is nonchalant with you and emotionally avoidant or whatever and unavailable, you have to choose you, right? And in choosing you, heal from any conditions that maybe you did act like you were a pick me or a people pleaser or something like that. Once you activate that understanding and you come to an acceptance, like, all right, I might have done this, in this relationship. It didn't serve me well. And I don't think I want to do that to myself again. And then the next opportunity comes up, you see it starting to happen, nip it in the bud. It's okay. It's okay to end patterns in mid-cycle. It's okay to see yourself going in a direction and realize, oh, let me pull it back, pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Why? Because we're not doing that. It's okay. The Wrath of Cain. Oh, thank you. Because we couldn't even, we couldn't figure it out. The Wrath of Cain. Okay. Wow. That makes sense because okay, I don't even want to tell you all of it. I ain't gonna tell you no more about this as you go watch it. But that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. But you know what? As far as you saying you asking those questions in every stage of your life, it's you have to. If you come from cycles of dysfunction, right? And any part of your life, whether what you grew up with, relationships you've had, or whatever, when you come to your awakening and understanding of your role, right? This is why I was talking about Cardi B, because there's some sort of an awakening she needs to have, right? And I feel like she may be having it because just the title of her album, the last album alone, Am I the Drama? Because these things keep happening to her, she said. Yes, in some way you are. In some ways you are. But it's more or less that if you realize you attract that dynamic to a degree, it's also your responsibility to chop it up real quick, right? Shut that shit down so fast to the point where, oh, okay, I see where you're going. I see what you're trying to do. No, the answer is no. Are you interested in no? What if we could no? But why not? Because no, I'm not doing that. I'm not feeling that. I don't want none of that. The answer is no. No, the first full sentence. No explanation needed. You need to just be able to give yourself permission, right, to say no. But the reading and the cards that I got tonight show that there is some pain, there is some lack of clarity here. But all roads lead to a better understanding of who you are. Let me move this. Who you are that could lead you to the Two of Cups, the partnerships, the right partnerships that are needed in your life, that bring love, that bring reciprocity, that bring togetherness, that bring hope with the Star card, and start to repair what the damage was in the past energy with the Three of Swords in reverse. So all is not lost, right? I'm listening for something. All is not lost. It's just the tendency of human beings is to do the same thing they've always done, right? We tend to be creatures of comfort. We tend to like familiar people, places, and things. So when you get into new connections, a lot of times they feel good because there's some aspect, maybe very much under the current, that feels very familiar. So we gravitate to that. And then time will show or reveal rather that what we were moving toward was not something that was going to serve us. The courage we need at that point of reckoning with that is that I have to cut this off. I have to let this go. I have to move away from this situation. I have to put my foot down, or I have to speak my piece to determine just what I'm dealing with and then do all of the, things I just previously stated, right? Maybe it's not about running from relationships, but it's more about being very picky and discerning about each one of them. That makes sense. So there is a connection, potential connection here with a soulmate, but Spirit's going to want you to take your time. Also, to understand that, um, are you heading in a direction of something that is clear to you, that lacks confusion, that is honest with you, that lacks lies, that is supportive and reciprocal of the love that you can give, not somebody or something that comes from a lack of love, right? Or a lack of understanding, right? So you want to be a little bit slower in your pace. A pause is always a good thing to do. Pause and take your time to acknowledge, okay, this feels good. But they did this, and that didn't feel right. And you got to learn to balance your scales of justice and weigh your pros and your cons to decide, well, am I putting up with something, or am I accepting something, or is it just naturally okay for that? You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if you're feminine energy, and let's just say the person that you're talking about or thinking about, or with, they tell you things like, I gotta go see my baby mom. I gotta go see my baby mom because she has my baby. So I gotta go kick it with her about the child. But yet they have in secret meetings at restaurants. The child is not there. And they're like, well, we have to have these conversations, right? Deep down how inappropriate that is, that this person is having secret conversations, so called, about a child, but yet the reason that they're supposed to be connecting with them is about the child. So either you there for the child or you there for that person. Like, it's not hard to see that that's a huge red flag. But people who are anti-relationship, full of excuses or whatever, they'll tell you things to get you to accept it, and then you have to decide, is this a red flag? Weigh your options. Is this a red flag, or is this genuine, right? Why is this happening? And unfortunately, like, we getting people getting situations with people where we try to give folks the benefit of the doubt, and then they try you one time and think, all right, let me do this a couple times, till you realize, oh no, that was a huge red flag from the first time. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. All right, tell me about this Hierophant energy, Spirit, and then we're gonna do some oracle. I'm gonna get y'all out of here. I ain't trying to keep y'all too long. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So, this is about loyalty, but coming away from recklessness, right? So in the past energy, you allow somebody allowed somebody to be reckless with them. Somebody who um didn't appreciate your time, probably played on your top, you know what I'm saying, had you feeling a kind of way when you should have been feeling. Somebody who was reckless and disrespectful with you. Um and learning how to shut that down is what I'm hearing. Tell me more, Spirit. Uh-oh. Learning how to heal. I just saw a stack, and the Five of Cups was on top of the stack because half a part of the deck flipped. Tell me more, Spirit. You got Six of Cups. So you got a masculine energy, because this is clarifying the King of Coins, thinking about the past, maybe thinking about you and your connection to them. All right, tell me more, Spirit. All right, tell me more. Tell me about this Ace of Swords in reverse, Spirit. Okay. Spirit said, if you don't have clarity, do not take action. Right? So when somebody keeps you in a state of confusion or lies or misunderstandings and, you know, not really being upfront with you, withholding information or just straight out concealing it, you know, Spirit said, don't take no action. The Ace of Wands is also in the reverse. You don't take action on that. You don't even have to require them to do much. You just make your decision based on what they do. Because whatever they show you is who they are. Sometimes the words don't matter no more. Oh, I didn't mean this and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. You know exactly what they did do, right? And that's enough. So Spirit said, don't take no action on somebody who is keeping you in a state of confusion, mentally unsafe. Tell me more, Spirit. And some people, like I said, the nonchalant ones want you to perform for them. And only for them to not even choose you sometimes, or to just make you feel like, well, I chose you, so that should be enough. And then we got conflict, right? So then this challenge and the lesson is dealing with this conflict. And a lot of it has to do with, like, this is family conflict, drama, and competition, right? So sometimes people will try to put you in that situation where you're competing with their mother, or you're competing with their sister, or their brother, or their father, or whatever. You're competing with some member close to them, but it's drama filled already. And then if you join, it's like you joining into the conflict too. But the challenge and the lesson is to not do that, or to learn that that is what's happening. And if that's not the dynamic you want, then you know how to back up out of that kind of stuff. Tell me more, Spirit. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Tell me about these Two of Cups. And ring that bell. That way you're notified when I come on. And live donation readings tonight. But I could very well be doing, what you call it? I could very well do free readings on some of these nights. So you might want to go ahead and, you know, just make sure you're in the inner circle and subscribe. Up, King of Wands. Now, see, this is the problem. There's a King of Wands that's in, or I should say, King of Coins / King of Wands in reverse, who is in nostalgic energy when they think of you. They think of the past. They think of what y'all have. They think of who you are, who you've been, who they are to you. All the things, all the things. They desire a Two of Cups situation with you, but this is a person that has not fully healed. Okay, this is somebody that's got a lot more work that needs to be done, and before a connection can be brought together. Because the King of Wands is not, he's operating in his hypersexuality. He's operating as a karmic masculine. He will not, so you got to dial back that urge to find familiars. You know what I'm saying? That urge to keep picking the same kind of energy, because it's detrimental to your life. To pull back. Now, it's not always possible. Now, I will say this. Let me dial that statement back, because I didn't finish what I was about to say. But I'm gonna go back to Cardi for a second. If you look at Stefan, him and Offset look like family. And I heard they cousins. I don't know if that's true or not, but they do look very much similar. Like, she has a type, right? Sometimes types don't come in the same looks. Sometimes the type is in the personality. And we think because they look different that they are different, but they're giving off the same energy, if that makes sense. So that's where your discernment Your discernment is very, very important at that point, because you have to determine, okay, I know this person looks different. Okay, my last guy was, I don't know, he was 5'9". He was like 190 pounds, slim. You know, he dressed nice. He was this and that. But this guy I like now, he is 6'4", 250 pounds, solid muscle. He drive a this, he go here, da 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 da. But they got the same kind of wounds. Like, if you really got into their life, you realize they both come from broken homes. Maybe they were single parent homes, whether one had a father, one had a mother. There was an imbalance there. Okay. And they're cold, and they're both a little nonchalant at times, or they will surprise you. One moment they hot, and it's all about you, and then the next minute they cold. They may not ghost you. This one might not. One ghost you, maybe the other one emotionally ghosted you. Could be right there in your face and not talk to you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to discern when you start seeing them red flags, and this person got you pleading with them, trying to get their attention, trying to talk it out, work it out, whatever. That's when them standards need to kick in and say, look, we done had a conversation. It went nowhere. You're doing the same thing. And like I said, we all try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I know I have. But when the conversation becomes cyclic, meaning we done had this conversation more than once, stop talking. That's the advice. Stop talking. The Ace of Wands is here in reverse. Spirit says stop making a move. Stop making effort when the communication or the situation is confusing, or there's lies being told, or you know what I'm saying, or you feel mentally unsafe with that person because they're, or emotionally unsafe with them because they're not telling it all. Stop taking action. You don't have to plead with this person. You ain't got to show up differently for this person. You ain't got to do shit if they're unwilling to do it with you. So you pull all your energy back. But if that last conversation was, listen, I need to see this, and this, and this, and none of that happens, then make sure whatever you said you were going to do, you stand 10 toes down on that and you move on. Hopefully, standing 10 toes down and moving on just literally means that. I'm not encouraging anybody to do any threats. If you made threats, don't make good on the threats. Just go do what, just go do you. Okay? And if that means drinking your water and minding your business, go do that. Leave that person alone. Let them decide what they are going to step up and do, or not, or step out and do. That's it. We can't get caught up in, damn, this person feels so good, but yet they still fucking up and trying to understand the fuck ups. No. We gotta be, you have to be strict with your program, meaning strict on who has access to you, how and why. Because people will take what you do or what you say and run with it as long as you seem any type of empathetic and understanding to their bullshit. Well, I didn't have this when I was growing up, and I didn't. Yep, I know all of that. But I also know that you're a full-grown adult with the capability of making different decisions than what was made towards you when you were younger. That might be your reason, but that is not okay, if that makes sense. You know? I feel like folks need to, let me see, bottom of the day. Folks need to stop having too much understanding for people. It's okay. They'll have to learn their lesson somewhere. Yeah. So you go from, this is two different energies coming out tonight. I feel like you have hope in your life and your success and what you're driven to do, driven to become. That there is a love for you. There's a mate for somebody. There's a mate for everybody out there. There's somebody for somebody out there, right? But you're dealing with somebody who's nonchalant. You're dealing with somebody who's apathetic, who doesn't really believe in connection. Therefore, there's still that King of Wands in reverse. Ultimately, they might have their finances together to a degree, but their heart ain't right because they outside, right? They reckless with it. This person will give it to anybody who showed them a little, a little attention instead of giving it to the person that's giving them love, not just attention. This person, Spirit said this person confuses love and attention. They don't know the difference. Remember I was telling y'all that sometimes people provoke you because any attention is attention. Some people, because when they come up with from a bad situation where they had a disrespectful or neglectful parent or a harmful parent who like beating them and embarrassing them and all kinds of stuff, and that person took, or I should say mistook, that parent's aggressiveness as love. Maybe the parent said, I'm only doing this because I love you, type shit. And this person mistook that aggression toward them as love. So if you're, as long as you arguing with them, as long as you're angry with them, showing signs, writing paragraphs and texts, and you know what I'm saying, showing up to their wherever and fussing with them, then obviously you love them and you care, because that's the love or whatever they thought was love that they grew up on. But this is somebody in this reading, whoever this is regarding, or whoever you think of, when this person wasn't raised on love. They were raised on showing out. They were raised on disrespect, but they thought it that they interpreted it as love. This person this person is very confused, what I get. And I feel like they desire love. I do get that, but they wouldn't know how to hold on to it. This is somebody who doesn't know how to be consistent. This is somebody, again, who would be nonchalant with you, so you wouldn't always feel safe. And Spirit is basically saying, stand down, because they would want you in their drama. They would want you in a third party. And unfortunately, Hardjart 9965, it's unfortunate that there are so many people like this, that this probably resonates with a lot of people, unfortunately. But it's one of those situations where when you are in connection with somebody, it's natural to go with the flow. It's natural to get to know them over time. But I feel like we as society like really need to do a little bit more background on the people that we're connecting with. We need to get a little bit more understanding about who this person really is, and if they're genuine, or we could trust them, and all that. It requires a little bit more of, what was your mama like? What was your daddy like? Do they get along? Are they married? Oh, okay. Do you have siblings? What was that like? What was it like growing up? Did you have a good childhood? Were you happy? Oh, did you do good in school? Were you a little rebellious? Did you go to college? How long were you there? Did you graduate? Okay. What kind of jobs did you ever work? Are you consistent in your job? How long you were there? Get to know them. And not just what they want today and where they see this going. Know who you dealing with. If you have the opportunity to meet those people, ask them a few questions too. What was it like growing up with so and so? What was it like raising such and such? Were they a funny child? Did they get in a lot of trouble? What was they like? What's your most memorable story about them? Like, get to know people. Talk to people. Communicate. I'm a Gemini. I'm going to communicate with you. I might meet you, and next thing you know, I'm interviewing you. A lot of times people come and tell me their whole life without me saying a word. But if I'm interested in what you got going on, I'm going to interview you. I'm going to ask you questions. That's what you got to learn going forward. The things that you may have not thought of, or and if this person that you ask these questions to does not want to share, that's a red flag. I'm not saying you gotta ask them, okay, well, what was the address, the last known address. I'm not saying that, although that might be important. All I'm saying is people shouldn't be too scared to share if they're interested in you. And if they're interested in you, you will glean a lot of information with communication. One of the videos that I was telling you about, the Gemini one, he was saying basically if you don't communicate with a Gemini clearly and often, and not on some old just anything, but be interesting, but clearly and often, they will lose interest and um, an attention for you. Like a nonchalant person is quick to lose a Gemini. Why? Because if you ain't got nothing to say and you're not showing no interest, then we don't have no interest in a ghost. We don't have interest in somebody mundane or quiet to the point where there's nothing. They just don't want to. They don't want to talk. That's the wrong one for a Gemini. I'm just bringing my zodiac up for a reason. We communicate, and I gotta know who you are, who I'm talking to. And that's the lesson I had. There were times where I was the nonchalant one and I didn't want to communicate. I just listened. I listened. I paid attention. But if you did something wrong, I didn't tell you. I just got quiet. And I well, it was kind of worn down for me to stop doing that. But in my early relationships, yeah, or potential relationships, because I don't even call them relationships. It was like, I see how you do. Let me just shut up. I'll just be quiet, you know. But as I got older, I realized I had to be upfront with people, like, and direct. Like, what? You're not gonna talk to me crazy, or you're not gonna treat me this way, or, oh, I see what you're doing, but no, I don't accept it just because you think I should. You could do it, just not with me. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could go be with your baby mama. That never really happened for me, but I've heard about it happening. But if that was the case, you can be with her, but you ain't gonna be with me too. You're not gonna have secret rendezvous and so-called secret conversations. If you're gonna be with her and the child to deal with the child, be with her and deal with the child. But if y'all need to be alone and have alone time, yeah, you would have to do that with somebody else. Ain't no way you about to play me and put me in no secret competition with nobody. And before I know it, I don't know what's going on. All right, tell me more, and then we gonna be up out of here. Ooh, longer than I wanted to be. I must have hit a note with somebody. All right, flexible. Like an octopus swimming in the deep sea, your flexibility is your best weapon against pressure. Adapting and change isn't about surrender, it's about smartly realigning your true self. True strength lies in constant adaptation. Look what I tell y'all. You see that conversation being cyclic? Y'all talking the same thing and ain't nothing. Nah, it's time for you to adapt, move, change. You didn't gotta surrender to that and keep going through that over and over again. Nah, you got to be more flexible with yourself. You know, sometimes we want to get in comfort zones and settle with somebody, and then we become pigeonholed in a certain situation. Uh, ain't no time for that kind of stuff. Tell me more, Spirit. Professional guidance. You are being called to seek professional guidance, especially when facing important decisions. The wisdom and resources from outside will help you avoid mistakes and lead you toward a more successful future. This is the truth. Now, in that first video I wanted to play for y'all, but I couldn't find it. He did mention that. I really feel like that's a component of the shift for yourself. Even for that person, if they need, they should get it. They say a lot of people, most people who really require therapy, don't get therapy. It's the ones that they have hurt that end up in therapy. But the point of my situation, what I was saying is that go seek a therapist, go get some help, go get a better understanding so that you can begin your healing journey, right? But one of the things the guy said about the Harvard study too is that the right person that you love on, that reciprocates love with you, that is your soulmate energy, that person is worth 1,000 years of therapy. Meaning they heal you quicker, faster, and stronger than just therapy alone. That's I never expected to hear that. That's major. So just being in a loving situation with somebody who really gets you and understands you and can trust you and vice versa. That is worth more than any therapy ever. However, when you are gone or you're down bad with somebody, I do suggest that therapy would uncover what needs to be worked on. Right? It's the catalyst, it's the help, it's the direction, it's the guide. Tell me more, Spirit. Says Sisyphus. If you're caught in repeated patterns, unable to make new choices in the current situation, release outdated ideas, connect with your intuition, and seek an entirely new insight. See, this is where the therapy comes from. When you're in cyclic situations with people, you will repeat patterns with them because neither one of y'all are seeking outside understanding. That's where couples therapy or family therapy comes in, right? It gives you an outside opinion so that you can point in a different direction versus cycling through the same scenario, right? The situation gets hot, then it gets cold, then it's lukewarm for a little bit, but then next thing you know, y'all arguing. All of that starts once you start to acknowledge where the problem really is, where it really lies. Then you can start working on the issue. Once you see it reappear, you can say, aha, you doing it again, and we got to work on that. Versus y'all just going through the argument, the same problems, the same. No. All right, Bart, give me more, Spirit. And it says self-mistrust. Self-doubt is holding you back from progress. Don't let fear dictate your future. You have the ability to break through these obstacles. Now's the time to free yourself and move forward towards your goal. This is the challenge, y'all. This right here is the challenge and lesson. Breaking through that self-mistrust. You know how many people time I talk to somebody and they like, I don't know. I was thinking, no. You was thinking right. Keep going. Well, I was wondering if I should. Yeah, I think you should, because you came up with the right direction. Like a lot of times, even in sessions or not so much in sessions, it don't even just be conversation, where people be second guessing themselves. The fact that you had that thought, it is the first indication that you onto something. Explore it. Don't try to squelch it down because that person will oppose it. Think about it. I'll give you an example. One of my mentees works this job, and this lady is trying to micromanage her, right? And most recently, the one that's the micromanager said, why do you CC the boss on everything? So she said, because I've done that ever since I got here. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? Let somebody see what I'm doing. And she's like, well, that's weird. You need to stop doing that. Now, the micromanager is definitely a sabotager. All right, she learned a saboteur, as they call her, right? She's the type of person who will tell you the wrong thing just so you can get caught up in something, and she can throw the rock and hide her hand. So she's telling me about this, and I'm like, keep doing what you've been doing. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, unless that person that you're CCing says stop CCing me. Then keep doing it because she's trying to sabotage you, and you know that. Yeah, but nothing. There's no buts. No buts. You know what I mean? There's no maybe coulda, shoulda, I wonder why. You don't need to wonder why. You know she sabotages. She's a saboteur. She's been a saboteur, right? So you know there's something underhanded. If you didn't hear that from the horse's mouth, meaning the person you're CCing about your work, keep CCing them to cover yourself. And end the story, right? You thought the thing, your intuition is not wrong. You're right. You got to take care of you. Tell me one more. And then bottom of the deck. Wow. Honor yourself. Honor the effort you put in to reach your current height. Instead of solely focusing on what lies ahead, don't overlook your achievements. Be proud. Be a proud king. For every success lies in a multitude of persistence and effort behind it. Listen, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, Spirit is saying, be proud of you right now. Whatever you've been, however you got to where you are right now, took a lot of effort, a lot of persistence, a lot of trial, a lot of errors, right? You may have been through some of the situations I described, but guess what? You still 10 toes down. You know what I'm saying? You standing. And you got things to look forward to because the star is here. You're still hopeful. Mind you, you may be dealing with someone or have dealt with somebody who's apathetic about their life. That is not your fault. They may be apathetic because you left the situation. That's not your fault. Their job was to meet you halfway, and if they did not do that, that's not your fault. Bottom of the deck, assassin. Okay, what does that say? Someone or something is scheming in the shadows, and then the universe calls you to observe keenly like an assassin. In the coming days, hidden intentions will be revealed. You must decisively uncover the truth and take appropriate action. Listen, pay attention to your people, your surroundings. Those are for you, those aren't for you. And then move accordingly. I keep telling you all the time, strategy and tactics. Okay, this talks about flexibility. You got to be able to shift on a dime if you're in a situation that's not good. You got to be able to pivot, but that also requires you having an arsenal in your backpack of options or people or support or help. Like look for those signals, those supports so you could get set up right and get out of situations where you got to look over your shoulder or you feel unsafe. I feel like the message overall is put yourself in a better situation where you can feel safe, whether you're taking care of yourself, someone else, or you need a little support and you finding the right connections. Put yourself where you can feel safe. So take it how it resonates. If it don't resonate, don't take it. Have a good night. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.